Last night, Kamala Harris went on Fox News and did an interview with Bret Baier. And after the interview, everyone is claiming victory, the right and the left. Now, Republicans are saying she absolutely bombed it, didn't answer a question. Democrats are saying she was presidential and she held him to account. You know, he tried to talk over her and he was very, very rude. And she said, "I'm talking," and she acted just like a president should. She was a boss. I saw boss mode activated all over the place on X last night. So here's a couple of clips from the interview itself. I want to let you guys look at it and then I'll tell you my thoughts. So here's the first clip. This is Bret Baier asking Kamala how she can say a new way forward after she's been in office for 3.5 years.
Exhausted of Bret.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But
people
you're the
have
lever of
become.
power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly.
What was this answer? Well, Donald Trump's been running. What? It's like if 79% of the country is saying we're on the wrong track and you've been in office for 3.5 years, how are you going to say a new way forward? And her answer is, well, Donald Trump has been running. What does that have to do with anything? Now, this is the way that this interview actually went. He would ask a question, she would not answer, and she'd start to ramble. Now, here's where the part where the Democrats and the left are saying, well, he was talking over her and he was being rude. This is where that happened. So what was going on was he'd ask a question, like for starters, he said, you know, how many people, you know, have crossed the border illegally? And she started rambling and he said, no, a number. And she started rambling and he gave her about 10 seconds to ramble. And then he said, no, Madam Vice President, a number. And they're saying, oh, he was interrupting, he was mansplaining, he was being rude. This is what Fox News does, blibbity blibbity blue. And they're saying he was, you know, just absolutely aggressive. But honestly, the clip that I showed you is exactly how this entire interview went. I encourage you to go watch it because it was kind of amusing. It wasn't really informative. There was nothing new that Kamala Harris said. It was all attacks on Donald Trump. He would ask her a question about herself and it immediately went to Trump. So there really wasn't anything of substance that she said that can, you know, honestly be criticized because there was nothing of substance that she said. However, the way that this is being framed is, you know, big evil Fox News was being so rude to her, and she's been on so many adversarial, you know, interviews. Well, this is, you know, no more adversarial than the moderators during the debate between Harris and Trump. This is no more adversarial than the Bloomberg interview that Trump did. These are just tough questions that she doesn't have an answer for, as illustrated by the fact that she did not answer the questions. So as this interview went on, Kamala's staff gave her a hard rap, and they ended the event early. They ended the interview early. In fact, according to Bret Baier, Kamala Harris showed up at 5:17 when the interview was supposed to start at 5, and they had 30 minutes, and of course they ended it early. And here's the clip talking about that.
Interviewing Dana, you've been on the other side. You've been on the rapper as a press secretary interviewing a president. And, you know, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like it's got to stop. So, Martha, I had to dismount there at the end. There's so many things, and she maybe should do more of these. Madam Vice President, and they're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the time.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kamala Harris could not do a full 30-minute interview. She couldn't do what she agreed to do on Fox News. And, you know, this is the thing when they talk about, oh, she did so many, you know, argumentative interviews. Where? The one they always point to is 60 Minutes, but 60 Minutes deceptively edited her interview to make her look better, to make her word salad look like it was a cohesive answer. So this is the first interview that she's done that's been even remotely adversarial toward her, and she honestly looked like a fish out of water. My opinion of this, what I saw last night, and you guys feel free to share your opinions down below. What I saw last night was a woman who had no answers for any of the criticisms that were given, and all she could do is say, I'm talking, stop interrupting me, when she was going on 2-minute word salad rambles, and he was cutting her off because he asked a specific question and she couldn't give an answer. That's exactly what I would do, by the way, in a conversation where I ask somebody a question and then they just ramble. Like, no, let me redirect you to the point. I do that with dementia patients. I'll ask them, have you had any falls recently? And they'll say, well, the other day I was taking a bath, and let me tell you, when I take a bath, sometimes I have to get the soap out of this drawer and I have to walk all the way across here. And it's like, oh, okay, yes, but did you fall? And you just have to keep redirecting and redirecting. It's not, it comes off as a little bit rude and a little bit pushy, but if someone's not answering the question that you give them and you have a limited amount of time, you've got to get them back to the point. And this is, Kamala Harris opposed to the filibuster, wanting to end the filibuster. Here she is filibustering for the entire time on Fox News. So I don't think she did very well. I think this looks terrible. The betting markets are already showing even further collapse for Kamala Harris. I am interested to see what the polls do after this. But, as of right now, haven't really seen too much of the fallout because both sides are claiming victory. Kamala Harris is absolutely not, she's absolutely, here's my friend. I'm multitasking right now. Kamala Harris is displeased by all reports. She is angry and yelling at her staff. I saw a bunch of tweets to that effect from people who have inside sources. I don't necessarily believe that because, there's you can't take it at word because it's unnamed sources, you know what I mean? But it's kind of amusing to think about. But this, in my opinion, was an unmitigated disaster for Kamala Harris. She didn't look good. I think undecided voters will notice that she didn't answer any questions, and I think this swings the pendulum further for Trump. That's about all. We'll talk to you next time.